Leaders of 49 African nations are in Washington, D.C. this week for a three-day Africa summit organized by the Biden administration. The U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit comes as the United States is trying to counter the growing influence of China and Russia in Africa. On Monday, Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, revealed the United States is pledging $55 billion in economic, health, and security support for Africa over the next 3 years.
Working closely with Congress, the U.S. will commit $55 billion to Africa over the course of the next 3 years across a wide range of sectors to tackle the core challenges of our time. These commitments build on the United States' long-standing leadership and partnership in development, economic growth, health, and security in Africa over the past 3 decades.
During the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit, President Biden's expected to express support for the African Union to join the G20 and to push for the...
I don't give a damn about Africans. What about black people in America? What about reparations for blacks in America? So Jim Crow Joe, because he want to buy off a bunch of Africans, he decides to go give $55 billion to Africans in Africa. But if you say, well, what about reparations for the African Americans, the 30 million blacks that y'all owe, like people like my grandfather who fought in World War I, and my great-grandfather and my grandfather fought in World War II, and then came home and had to live under Jim Crow, and then their grandfather, for them who lived under slavery, you say, look, you robbed these people and tortured them, whatever, stole land, all kinds of shit. What about reparations for them? Oh, no, they don't deserve anything. But wait a minute, but you're getting ready to go, you're sending $55 billion as, in money, not to mention what you've already sent to a bunch of Africans to pay them off. Make it make sense.
Reporting Biden's planning his first trip as president to sub-Saharan Africa next year. The Washington summit comes as Africa faces numerous crises, from the climate emergency to political instability. Over the past 2 years, there have been coups in Mali, Sudan, Burkina Faso, and Guinea. U.S.-trained officers led several of those coups. The 4 nations were not invited to the Washington.
Right, and who led the coups in Africa? Who's leading the coups? Americans. Americans, right? You heard it just say it, right? So the Americans are leading coups against your countries. But then you're running over to go jump on a plane and go sit down with the same people who are running coups in your country so that you can get $55 billion in aid from them. Make it make sense, right? See, the truth is, there are no black leaders. There's no such thing as black leaders, not in Africa, not in America, not anywhere on the planet, right? One thing this proves, the leaders of black people are white people.